Hey, welcome back, everyone. We're here. The thing. Ban list review. YouTube's most critically acclaimed, well appreciated, and beloved ban list channel returns for yet another season of April 2019. If you are not familiar, well, you've been missing out. Basically, this channel is not a lot of things. Not a commenters don't understand. Not a pack opening channel. Not a content stealing channel. And it is not ban list channel. Now, usually what happens during ban list season is that, well, we just make 9 videos of the ban list stuff. Predictions, reviews, memes, predictions, more predictions, and stuff like that. Top 5 best meta deck April 2019. So while we wait for the bans to come drop in about a week or two, I thought it would be a good time for me to review some of your stupid suggestions that I've seen on Facebook and various forms of social media. Bring back Firewall Dragon, he did nothing wrong.
Why don't you go ban that rabbit? Why don't you go ban a cat? They did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong either.
Yeah, by the way, it's not a Triff Gaming channel. So I'll be reviewing some of your stupidity, and I will be giving my personal in-depth analysis, of which I believe I have accumulated a 94.22% accurate NASA computer system generated, calculated to the very T, ran for about 7 hours, rendering at full maximum capacity with 300 megabyte, million gigabyte of RAM, which I downloaded from YGOcity.com. And if you go there, you can use the promo code FarfaYGO and you can download yourself some RAM. Make sure you follow me on social media and Twitch and all the things and stuff, and the subscribe and the like button. If you like this video, you can like, or you can just say, no, I didn't like it. You're fucking stupid. But before that, I want to do a little classical Farfa thing, and that's just looking at some of the memes that you guys have been designing over time. Me, Pendulum Summon 5 monsters, my chess opponent. Y'all playing chess? I'm playing checkers. Wait, that's not the saying. That's not how that goes. So what skills do you have that you would believe would be beneficiary assets to our company? Pendulum 5. Ich bin ein Donnerdrache als Walrus-Schlampe. Thunder Dragon as a walrus, Thunder Dragon walrus. Meme bottom text. Master 04 hasn't done a whole lot of good for the game, but field centers and the advent of using them and showing your opponent your crazy creativity is +1 from me. That's an upstart goblin right there. +1. So our first submission here comes from the Facey BB. And well, we've got Soul Absorbing Boneless Tower has been banned. Okay. There's a lot of stupid things on here. There's a lot of stupid things on here. But the one that really sticks out to me as completely dumb. Do you guys understand how ridiculous it is to limit Fusion of Fire? You know what? It's like every deck has like a one-of card kind of thing. And then limiting that one-of card, like, doesn't make any sense. Let's limit Gem Knight Guard. All right, cool. Because I was only playing one anyway. Limiting Fusion of Fire doesn't achieve anything. Oh, but it gets better. It gets better. He also wants us to bring back Book of Moon to 3. I'm kidding, Book of Moon to 3 is probably what are you gonna do? Activate Star Yo-Yo effect. I guess I'll set it. Oh, busted. That's a broken play. Technically, that's broken because it's illegal. But nonetheless, Book of Moon is not very good. Now, really, the biggest boo-boo here that you've made, other than just some of the stupid ones I mentioned already. Level Eater, the one. I want asking for a friend. I'm just curious. I don't think you really understand how Link summoning works. Legitimately, if you understood how Link summoning works, you would recognize Level Eater cannot be in the game anymore. It's it. It's past its time. Put a big Destrudo on the field, or a Malicious, and you just summon Level Eater, Link, 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 summon Level Eater, Link. I understand, we all miss Synchro. I love Synchro. I really like playing Synchro decks, but this is not the answer. Reprint Needle Fiber. Import, whatever the term is. Where do I even begin with this one? Should we start with the irrelevant cards, or should we start with just the absolute absurdity here? Real talk, memes aside, let's do one of those segments of a Farfa video where we give you knowledge, critical analysis. Ask yourself, first and foremost, very simply, what is the purpose and objective of a ban list? Ban list is there to tackle and address certain issues and problems that the game has. When you see cards like Infinite Impermanence at 2, this is what is known as a low IQ suggestion. It's not like It's not outlandishly stupid, but it's not intelligent. It's just a random card to 2 for no reason. What are you trying to achieve or suggest? What does this hit? Who does this affect? What does this deal with? I don't understand what you're trying to achieve with this. On the one hand, you have cards like the Dangers being banned because I suppose combos may be a little bit out of hand recently. But then you bring back cards like Firewall Dragon, which go completely antithetically towards just the spirit of banning combo cards in the first place. Because if you want to if you think Summon Sources is better than Firewall, I don't know where to begin with you. There's just so much ridiculous stuff here. Like, what, Super Poly to 3? I like not being able to respond to my opponent. Well, it's going to help my fusion deck, actually. Remember what we said about useless limits? Borrowload Savage Dragon 1. Did you know that Borrowload Savage Dragon is a hard once per turn? Even if you could spam multiple Borrowload Savage Dragons, there's no purpose. You can only negate once per turn anyway. Why would you ever play more than one? You don't need to play more than one. And you're limiting it on this list? That in itself, if you just summarize this list of all the stupid, absurd things here, like Avarice to 2, freaking Confiscate to 3, of all the stupid things you've put on this ban list, banning Licorice, Borrowload Savage Dragon just epitomizes and completely summarizes why you are a complete fucking idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. And without getting too toxic, I'm just gonna say, if you are a casual player who does not play at competitive level and just simply doesn't fucking read cards, you do not have a right to comment on the ban list. It's not for you. The ban list isn't designed for you. The ban list is there to keep the meta in check. If you don't play meta, you don't participate in competitive meta discussions or gameplay, it's none of your fucking business. And the fact that you've limited a card that's a hard once per turn just shows you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, let's get this piece of shit off my screen before I punch a hole through my monitor right now. Now the most important part where we actually speak some logical sense here. We're going to be reviewing my suggestions. Now you all are aware and should be aware of just how high IQ I am. You know, this here is just neurons firing from one end to another. There's lots of brains in here. Number one, we're going to start off, we're going to ban Dark Matter Dragon. You see, the Thunder Dragon deck is running rampant, being a little bit of a problem boy. Yu-Gi-Oh! Historically has had a lot of problem boys. The Thunder Dragon deck is a little bit kind of hard because there's multiple little issues here and there that I feel like you could actually tackle and hit this deck. Just at first glance, take a real strong hard look at the deck list and then ask yourself which cards jump out at you as the unfair ones. Obviously there's the Dangers, which I'm gonna get onto soon. Don't worry. The baby dragons are really strong. Eclipse Wyvern is probably getting a little bit out of hand as dragons get stronger. Chaos Dragon, Levianeer, Agripane, LP, Pasty, Red MD. Okay, there's a lot of fucking problem boys in here. But I think one card that should be hit from this deck is Dark Matter Dragon. Dark Matter Dragon, because of the fact that you're able to send something like Goliath, you're able to fill up your graveyard with a whole bunch of resources like Eclipse Wyvern and stuff like that. You can activate Dark Matter Dragon. There's a fucking cost. It's a cost. Sending cards from my deck to the graveyard is a cost. Agripane is a very big contender as well, but I think that card is too new. We're probably not going to see that being hit, as well as the same case with LP. Those cards literally just came out. I don't see them hitting that. But Dark Matter Dragon is my first hit for the Thunder Dragon list. Next one is the Dangers. I'm going to be banning Snack. Banning Snack. A lot of you are probably wondering, why the fuck would you ban Snack? Snacky boy. Snack is probably the most versatile and splashable danger, and I think that for the very fact that because of it fulfills the complete win condition of the Dangers, which is put a boy on the board, then for that reason I think Snack is probably the best one. You can say Jackalope specials from deck, Nessie Search is something to put on the board, but one thing we can all agree on is the absolute end game deliverance and win con of a danger monster is to put itself on the board to be fodder for link summoning. Would you all agree that is the purpose of a danger monster? There is no danger monster that fulfills this win condition as best as Snack. It doesn't matter how RNG it is, it doesn't matter how good of a hand you have, it doesn't matter how unlucky you are, it doesn't matter how lucky you are. When you resolve, Snack is going to hit the board regardless of what happens. So for that reason, I personally think that Snack is the most powerful danger monster. So I'm going to be banning Snack and I'm going to be limiting Nessie and Jackalope. One of my friends suggested another angle and they said maybe just ban every single danger except the good ones. So what we're left with is an engine that's really powerful and splashable for lots of decks, but at the same time it doesn't become abusable where we have like literally 37 upstarts or something in a deck. Interesting way to look at it, but at the same time there's a lot of level 8s that could be degenerate in the future. That's why I've hit Dark Matter preemptively, And I think just hitting the best ones would probably be the best way to go about it. It means that you can still play things like Mothman, which are very good in some decks, being able to discard early. But I think the disadvantage is your opponent draws a card. So there is a bit of give and take there and letting your opponent draw into outs and stuff versus a silly combo board. The next hit is going to be limiting Colossus. I think that Colossus is really the biggest problem for some of these decks. Putting just an indestructible mistake that, weirdly enough, hits more decks than you would think. It hits the meta, like Sky Striker, really hard. It hits Rogue, like Necros, really hard. And it's very, 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 very hard to out. The card is really, really ridiculous, and I think especially in multiples because of how easy it is to summon, being able to go into these powerful rank 8 monsters and stuff as well. For that reason, I think that card should be limited. It means that Thunder Dragons still have a win condition, and summoning Colossus is a very strong, powerful play. But when you have 3 of them on the field and then 2 of them become a rank 8, like, that's probably when things get a little bit silly. The final hit that I'm going to be having for Thunder Dragon will be banning Sky Blaster. Look at the main deck, just ask yourself, what jumps out at you as like the really powerful card here? Well, considering how a deck that doesn't really need its normal summon is able to play a monster that can put 4 boys on the field immediately, goes straight into Saryuya with 2 danger, with 1 danger and itself. I think that is itself shows that it's really, really stupid. You just make 1 token into Link Creeble, there you go, you got 4 different names. 1 danger and a Sky Blaster, 2-card combo to go in Saryuya. But on top of that, it's important to recognize that Link monsters and the Link mechanic in general, because of how generic it is and how like versatile it is, it means that with every single Link monster we get from now, henceforth, is just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. There's a lot of hits for Thunder Dragon here, and I think with everything that I've suggested so far, this makes Thunder Dragon playable, but not absurd. I think that there's probably under this list, you're still going to see some issues, maybe, like Chaos Dragon Levianeer being a little bit of an issue. You might still have to hit Diabolus of all cards, maybe even Eclipse Wyvern. Biggest culprit is Summon Sork, but I don't think they're going to hit that just yet, at least not until Needle Fiber is released. So this might actually not be enough by itself, but I think with all these danger hits, it should probably rein this deck in quite a lot. Next card that I'm going to be hitting is the banning of the PK rank up. It was a very close one between this or Rusty Bardiche. I think that Rusty facilitates a lot of different versatile plays. You can get 2 negates from it. You can get Azathoth from it. You can get a Reborn from it that lets it come back and give you a free zone. And if you make a rank 4 Dart monster, you can pop a card. That's like 5 separate things that Bardiche does just by itself. The card is really, really powerful, but the question is it game breaking? I think that Bardiche doesn't really do anything to the point of ridiculously unfair until you start involving the rank up. Now, the Orcust engine probably needs to be toned down a little bit, and I think that this will probably preemptively stop Orcust from getting too out of control with turn 1 VFDs when Dingirsu comes out. So banning the rank up does stop that kind of level of degeneracy and just basically Azathothing your opponent turn 1. I would assume that Orcusts are going to be very, very good when they get their new support in the next set, but I think with some of the danger hits here, it's probably going to be a little bit harder for them to be super dominating. But at the same time, I think that they could still probably get away with the format even with the hits that I've suggested. It's important that we let decks go and be out there and flourish for a little bit and then rein them in as we see problematic. I don't want to hit anything preemptively, but I do think that something like Orcusts are going to be very powerful, but I don't want them to do anything unfair. And the only super unfair thing I can think of that they would do is something like VFD every single turn. Next deck I'm going to be talking about is Sky Striker. Sky Striker is weirdly very, very, very fragile. There's a lot of cards that you could hit here that might just outright kill the deck. The deck's been around for a year. We know that they're not going to destroy the deck just yet because there's reprints coming. So we know for a fact Konami want this deck to stay around for a little bit longer. Limiting Kagari and multi-roll, I feel should be enough to rein this deck in. I was thinking about Engage and Widow Anchor and how you could maybe tune these a little bit, but I think that Sky Striker really shines in its inability to progressively grind forever. Multi-roll facilitates that a lot, and if you aren't able to access multi-roll, well, your deck doesn't have much left in the tank after the next turn, perhaps. This deck is very slow at killing you, so its longevity is extremely incremental to its win condition. So hitting something like multi-roll does matter as well. Maybe on top of this you could semi-limit Engage, but I think that Engage being semi-limited doesn't really do too much. Like, making the deck less consistent doesn't really make the deck less powerful. So I think limiting something like an extra deck monster, like for example Kagari, makes sense. And for some random cards that I've addressed here, I'm going to be putting Saryuya to 1. Saryuya is a pretty hard and difficult card to summon, unless of course you're doing Sky Blaster. But it's okay, I've already banned it, I've dealt with that. Yeah, I take care of you guys, I fixed it. Sky Blaster ban means that Saryuya probably isn't that easy to make for certain combo decks. But Saryuya is still a good card that is very, very strong, and a lot of rogue decks use it. Now, my issue isn't Saryuya doing anything particularly unfair, because I think that drawing 4 and summoning a monster from your hand is extremely powerful. But consider that you have to put 4 different monsters together with different names to be able to do this. Shows that this card is probably one of the more fairer link fours. However, my issue is when you start making multiple Saryuyas, which some decks have been doing, and I think that drawing 8 cards into your deck to try and dig for very important one-offs and combo pieces, that's when things get a little bit unfair. So the limit of Saryuya basically keeps the cards in the game, and it's fine, everyone likes it, but it stops really unfair things when people start making multiples of these. Next card, I'm gonna be banning Artifact Scythe. Oh, it's gonna rustle some jimmies, this one. Artifact Scythe is a card that skips your opponent's turn. Plain and simple, if you're playing anything that accesses the extra deck, which in 2019, it's very hard to find the viable strategy that accesses the extra deck that isn't complete garbage. No offense, Draco players. It just seems like for modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! It's really unfair because just the fact that there isn't many options in deck building for you to just not access your extra deck. The extra deck is just really important. It's been in the game since the very beginning. It's only gotten more powerful and stronger with more options. It's very incremental to a lot of deck strategies. So I don't see how completely ending your opponent's turn and they're unable to play is fair. Ban Red Reboot. Am I gonna rustle some more jimmies? I think back row decks need to be stronger in this game, but I don't want back row decks to be stronger at the expense of making games completely uninteractive and unfun. For example, flipping Scythe. So I think that back row decks have this issue where you have something like Red Reboot in the game, which if anyone's playing an OTK or combo deck, they just drop this card. Very rarely are you able to respond to it because it's spell speed 3, activated from your hand. Don't know why that needed to be there. 4 of your cards are dead. This is like the Scythe for control decks. So I think if we're going to take away from one deck, we should take away from another. If control decks are going to have their Scythe taken away from them, then I think the combo deck should have their Reboot taken away from them. It's not that having cards that deal with each other's decks is bad for the game per se, but when they deal with each other in unfair ways, basically skipping their turns, I think that's really, really degenerate and should be addressed. And finally, you're probably wondering as you reach the end of this battle list review, where's the Salad Boy hit? Salad is a really, really confusing deck for me to hit here, and I can't really think of anything that would maybe just make the deck weaker but not outright kill it. The deck is very, very new. Now, a lot of you are probably going to be suggesting, well, you can't hit the deck. It just was released. Why would you touch any of the cards? It literally came out like a month ago. That is very, very true. However, if we hit decks like Sky Striker, which has been out for a year and we know it's going to get hit again, and Thunder Dragon, which is going to be getting hit again, and that card's deck's been out for like 8 months or something, like we know these decks are going to be hit. If 2 out of the big 3 decks are being hit and we just leave one of them alone because it's too new, well, do the math. Which deck's going to be the best deck? So by proxy, Salad has to be hit on this ban list, despite the fact that it's completely new and hasn't been dominating. Because like I said, if we don't hit it, it just runs away with the format, because by proxy, not hitting it and hitting the other decks makes Salad stronger without it actually gaining anything. I was thinking perhaps semi-limiting Gazelle and Sunlight Wolf. This doesn't hurt the deck too much at all, but it's some kind of a little bit of consistency hit, and you're not able to consistently spam out those reincarnated Sunlight Wolves, recurring your traps every single turn. Maybe you could probably put something like Balinks to 1. Spinny could be limited or semi-limited. I'm not saying we do all of these hits that I've just suggested. I'm just suggesting some suggestions. But I think roughly somewhere around the lines of consistency and semi-limiting cards is maybe the best way to hit this. Because I feel like if you just limit Sunlight Wolf, that's like limiting Kagari for Sky Striker, which is like huge. And I don't think it deserves that big of a hit so early. So I'm totally open to suggestions on Salad. I really don't know the best way to address this without killing it, but I think my reasoning is very solid. Thank you for watching. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Keep spending most our lives